Playoffs. We are going to be breaking down the playoffs. Welcome to another episode of Broken Plays. I got Hatham. I got Jaylon. How my brothers doing?
We're blessed, fam.
AFC, UFC. What's the next one, JLo?
He's an
Hey,
AFC
Lakers in five.
5.
yo, the Lakers took a smackdown though. So we'll start with that series since you brought that up. We'll start with the Lakers and Timberwolves. So the day that we're recording this podcast, we have watched all game ones. So every game one has been played. So we're gonna break it down from what we know after seeing game one, just for transparency. I think you guys should know that. So game one, Lakers versus the Timberwolves. A lot of people say Lakers in five. The Lakers still can win in five, but they didn't look that impressive that night when on Saturday night when they were playing the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves took the series and are now leading 1-0 in the series after winning 117 to 95. Ethan, let's start with you because you a LeBron fan. You be watching the Lakers. What
Everybody's
happened?
a LeBron fan, unless you're a LeBron hater. It was pretty simple. If you look at the box score, OKC's bench showed up. I mean, Wolves bench showed up, and the Lakers bench didn't show up. I think there was a total. The Lakers bench scored 8 points, and the Minnesota Timberwolves scored 50 points. So, typically speaking, bench players don't show up. So I think it's just an adjustment. I think what's his name's probably hasn't been sleeping all weekend. That man's just been cooking in the lab, and we'll see you next game, bro. I'm talking about what's his name, JJ, by the way.
JJ Redick, yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't understand how he didn't get. He wasn't part of the Coach of the Year
Yeah,
candidates.
that's why.
Yeah, we'll dive into that a bit after. Jalen, what about you? What do you make of that game?
Um, I don't think it makes sense to overreact. I think the Timberwolves shot the lights out. They had 21 threes. They were 21 for 42, so they shot 50% from the 3-point line, with only 10 free throw attempts. Which is very telling. So if that's a trend, I obviously think that it's not sustainable for the Minnesota Timberwolves to hit 23s a game. But if that's what it takes to beat the Lakers, and if you're able to do that, then hats off to you. But like Hatham said, the bench scoring was drastic. The 3-point shooting, there was a drastic disparity. So I assume that JJ Redick, he's a quality coach, in my opinion. I assume that he's going to make some adjustments for game two.
Yeah, I do agree with you, Jalen. We were messaging during that game, and the one thing that we came to a consensus on is that Minnesota was playing way better than they normally do, right? And the Lakers bench didn't look like they showed up. But like you said, there's no reason to panic right now. It's only game one. As Hatham said off the top, the Lakers can still win in five. They just got to win four straight. Let's go to another series that happened on that day. Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. What do we make of that series? Hey, Jalen, we'll go with you for this one.
Detroit basketball.
I think this is probably one of the most exciting series that we have available. I think that Detroit is a young, hungry team that showed their youth in the first game. I think in that fourth quarter, the Knicks just upped the intensity defensively. I think that they were a lot of the shots that Detroit took were very forced. It wasn't necessarily within the flow, and that's a little bit on JB Bickerstaff, but more so on the players. It was like a 21-0 run, if I'm not mistaken, or 22-0 run, something like that. That's not something that you can be successful with in the playoffs, have happened and be successful with in the playoffs. So I do expect the Pistons to bounce back. I do expect them to play better. But this is a little bit of a concern just because it's a very young team. So we'll be interested to see what happens in game two. I think they're going to lose game two, but win game three because they'll be able to play off of their home crowd in Detroit and sort of build off that to get a game. But I think it might be a gentleman's sweep or maybe Knicks in six.
What about you?
Yeah, I think it'll be a close series. I think this is their chance to win a game and steal a game, and they kind of messed up. I think Kay Cunningham didn't show up. As people would like to say online, as soon as they put some hard-earned money on him, he becomes someone else. Starts looking like me and J-Lo, fam. If you
Whoa,
squint a
whoa.
little bit, you know what I mean? So I think next game is going to be a big, like we're going to see exactly what the Pistons can do, but also I think JP Bickerstaff needs to make adjustments because I think that's why he got fired when he was on the Cavs. His adjustments weren't well. So I think he needs to make adjustments and they need to be able to do it. But in theory, the Knicks shouldn't be, I mean, the Detroit shouldn't be in this series. You know what I mean? Like they don't have the manpower or firepower, but I think they've been playing over their heads, and I think Kate Cunningham is probably first team. I think he's first team this year, or first team or second team, just the way
At
he's
the
been
minimum.
playing.
At the minimum,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, there's not much more to add based off what you guys said. I will piggyback off what you said, Hatham, when you said that the series will be close because like I know what you mean. Like the scores will be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I don't like Jalen. Just like you, I don't see the Pistons winning like 2, 3, 4 games. Maybe one at home, with that home crowd. But after that, I think Tatham, you're right. I don't think that they belong in this series. We'll move on to the Indiana Pacers and the Milwaukee Bucks. The Pacers are up 1-0 in the series. They beat the Bucks 117-98. Hatham, thoughts on that one?
Oh, we got a clown Kuzma, bro. He looked like what's his name? Tony Snell? Is he Tony Snell? 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 0? Yo, bro, I thought I was seeing Krispy Kreme donuts on that stat line. But I think it'll be a good series. I think Dame's supposed to come back, but also I think it's one of those things where I don't know why they were talking at the end of the game. You know what I mean? Like I don't know why Dame's getting all cheese. Like you're not on the court, and your boys have to do the talking for you. So I think it's one of those things where it's like I get it. Where the Pacers are the higher seed, right? They were in Indiana.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were supposed to win, bro. Like it's home court advantage for a reason. You win your games. It's only when the road team wins a game the series becomes big, you know? So I think the next game might be big. Hopefully Bobby Portis can show up. He's been hooping before the end of the season. And Dame kind of just I don't know what with these blood clots. So some people are out for a year. Dame just stops time. He does this, and he says, "Yo, I'm back in 3 months." But we'll see. I think it'll be a good series. I think it might go six, maybe seven, depends on how Dame can show up.
Jalen?
Yeah, I think Giannis was hooping by himself. It was basically 1-on-5. Didn't get any help from Kuzma. Didn't get any help from Brook Lopez. Didn't get any help from Bobby Portis. But Andrew Nemhard seems to elevate his game come playoff time, and that's big for the Pacers. But if the Bucks have any aspirations of winning a game, let alone a series, Giannis gonna need some help. So I still think it's Pacers in six, just because they got Glenn over there behind the bench and pocket watcher. What's homeboy's name? What's hands in my pocket? Hands in my pocket. Hands in my pocket. What's homeboy's name? He's coach Lakers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy that used to take timeouts in traffic. Like he was stuck in
Yeah,
traffic, and he's like, "Here,
yeah.
fam, timeout."
On his way home. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's a ham sandwich.
Darvin Ham. There we go. Darvin Ham. Yeah. The Bucks are doomed, in my opinion.
I got nothing to add on that.
Yo,
On that
I'm not
point.
gonna lie to you. I don't think that man has lotion at home. Like he looks like the type of nigga that doesn't have lotion.
Catching strays. Oh no, there's one thing that I will add. The Pacers, like you said, Nemhard actually shows up. Come playoff time, he elevates his game. Shout out to Canada. And I think I'm interested to see how the Pacers fared this year with Benedict Mathurin. I feel like when
Mm.
Benedict Mathurin is healthy, that team does
Did
play
you
a
play?
lot better, right? And like he looked good in the first game. So I do agree with you. I think the Pacers are taking that one. So we're gonna move on to the best game. I think we could all agree this was the best game. The next game I'm gonna talk about the last
OKC
Saturday.
Thunder?
Yeah, exactly. The Clippers at Denver. Oh, you said wait, what did you say? OKC Memphis?
He said Thunder Grizzlies, bro.
No, I'm talking about the Clippers and Nuggets. This was by far the best game. Went into overtime. We saw Kawhi. We saw James Harden. We saw Jamal Murray. We saw
James Harden
Nikola
hooped.
Jokic. Jalen, what do you make of this series?
Hey, the roller coaster that is Russell Westbrook. That's my dog, bro. I live and I die by Russell Westbrook. That's my guy. He had some clutch plays. He had some brain dead plays, but that's the enigma of Russ, man. I love it. I love it. Somebody said it's like a Mario Kart item box. Yo, that had me crying.
Shout out to Andrew.
But I think that if I'm Denver Nuggets, I'm a little bit worried. I don't think the Clippers supporting cast played very well. James
Who's their
Harden, huh?
who's their supporting cast?
Well, I don't think Norman Powell played very well. Derrick Jones Jr. didn't play very well. Ivica Zubac was good in the first half. He was kind of non-existent in the second half. They kind of went away from that Harden Zubac pick and roll in crunch time, which was very confusing because they were frying Denver all game with it. But on the flip side of it, Denver as well, they got 25 from Aaron Gordon, They got 25 or 23 from Jamal Murray, if I'm not mistaken. Is that
21 from
something
Jamal.
that's, huh?
21 from Jamal.
21 from Jamal. Is that something that's sustainable? Are you going to be able to get 25 from Aaron Gordon every game? Michael Porter Jr., not sure what's wrong with him, but
Oh, yo.
he's kind of selling, man. You might have to move on from him this summer. But that's going to be a 7 game series. If I'm Denver, I'm very worried. I am very, very worried. The Clippers have, it seems, the potion to be Denver's kryptonite. They can switch, they can guard, they can get out in transition. They have an isolation scorer. So I think it's going to be a long series. I'm hoping Denver in 7 because I want my guy Russ to get a ring, but it wouldn't shock me if it was Clippers in 6, honestly.
Before Hatham goes, I just want to piggyback off what you said because that's something that's been bothering me like all year is Michael Porter Jr.'s like downgrade. Like
Hmm.
this team, like at one point, I remember we were talking about how Jamal Murray looks like he ain't going to show up. Whatever you highlighted it there. You said Jamal Murray. Is it sustainable that Jamal Murray is going to give you 20? If Jamal Murray plays like that, you have Jokic playing like Jokic. You have Russell Westbrook doing his Mario Kart item box thing, and Aaron Gordon. You're good, but you still need production from Michael Porter Jr. to come in and hit those threes. Right? If
Hmm.
he hits like three, four threes in the game's wide open, it's like a 12 a 15 point win right there. And I do agree with you, the Clippers starters played well apart from Norman Powell, who could play better, but I think it's going to go to 7 and it's anyone's game. But I give the edge to Denver because they can figure it out. But yo, when you have a healthy Kawhi and a healthy James Harden, damn, yo, that like, and James Harden is just playing basketball, no bullshit. Yo, that's a tough team to play against, and it just proves how wide open the West is. Hatham,
Sorry,
yeah,
I just want to add one more thing, just for context. The Nuggets only hit 9 threes. Michael Porter was one of 2. So he only took 4 shots in that game. He was one of 2. It's not good enough, man.
yeah, he has to shoot more. He has to shoot more and make more shots. There's been other games during the season where he takes the shots and he's making them. But thank you for the context, Jalen. Hatham, what do you make of that series?
I'll give you a good quote. Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Clippers in 5.
I hate this thing, bro.
Cannon edition, you know? But I think the Nuggets got lucky. I think down the stretch they got a like that call. I think it was off Westbrook. I think it was one of those things where they had already used their challenge, so they could the timeout. Remember when it was like a ticket for tack and they called it off Harden, not Westbrook. Remember
The
at the
last
end,
play of the game?
the second last play, like the inbound play. Like I think it would have
No, that,
been,
that was off Harden.
but it's still one of those things where it's like a tick for tack. Like how did that ref see that? You know what I mean? Where it's like he was just like no ref is gonna call that in a real game.
Okay, I get you. I
You
get you.
get what
I
I'm
get you.
saying? Like
Yeah,
it's one of
yeah.
those things where it's like
Could have gone
so
either way
something
type
yeah,
thing.
it could have gone either way. I think the biggest deciding factor of this whole series is Ty Lue actually. I think having an interim coach that like doesn't really understand the whole tick for tack for the playoffs, working adjustments. I think Ty Lue has the advantage. He'll show it next game. I think the Denver Nuggets kind of got lucky. I think Kawhi had a couple like he passed it to the wing. He had a couple shots at the end of the game. I think Harden kind of showed up. He did his thing where he scored 32. Zubas did really well. He was like 21 for 15. I don't know what more do you
21 and
want from him.
13, yeah.
Yeah, so I think he did well. I think Norman Powell just needs the ball a little bit, but also I think they need to start using the bench a bit. I think they have Bogdanovich there. I think what's his name plays a little bit too many minutes for not being a non-shooter. No, the bald guy that's in the lineup.
Batum?
No, the
Oh, Chris
short
Dunn.
guy.
Chris Dunn.
Yeah, Chris Dunn. Like he's there for defense. I get why he's there, but I think they need in the playoffs you kind of need someone to stretch the court a bit for the pick and roll. I think the defender just kind of just sags off a bit on him. Like even on the last play, that's exactly what happened. Kawhi couldn't get a
Hmm.
shot because Dunn's defender sagged off.
Bogdanovich only played 12 minutes, too.
Yeah,
So we're gonna move on to Sunday games. We're gonna start with the worst game of the playoffs. Like Jalen and I, as we were texting during the game. We both like after that one alley hoop play. We both changed the channel. Jalen said that he's gonna watch soccer, and I said I'm changing the channel. Simultaneously, like at the same time, we said that. Like that was the turning point of that game. That game was god fucking awful. Jesus Christ, what do you make of that game?
brother, I went to sleep. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw that game. I was lying in bed. I said, "Yo, fam, it's bedtime." But yeah, it wasn't a good. That was. I think OKC really showed that. they're kind of there, you know, or they're defensively they're there. You know what I mean? You can't really pull any of these kind of bullshit. Just kind of showing up. You have to be ready. Game plan. I don't understand with all these teams firing their coaches right before the season. Like, what did they think was going to happen? They were going to win games. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like what's the point? Like at that point, you should have just told your team, "Yo, don't make the play in. Let the Mavericks make it, or
The
let the
Kings.
Kings make it." You know what I mean? Just don't show up. But yeah, OKC really showed. I didn't think they had it in them, but they really showed it. Lou Dort, clamps, Shea, clamps.
For me, it was also the fact that Shea didn't do anything. Like Shea was coasting. Like he was what Dylan. What we were talking about. Like at the end of like there was some point in the first half where we were talking, and Shea was like
It's
two for
six
10.
points.
Yeah, 6 points. Like,
But
and
what did he end with?
he ended it with
15.
15.
Oh, because he didn't play, right?
He played 23
20.
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he did
It
like
was J Dub that went off, right?
It was actually Aaron Wiggins. He had
yeah.
21.
Aaron Wiggins had 21, and then J Dubs had 20. Like their bench showed up. Isaiah Joe played well. Like the whole team played well. There wasn't one player on that team that played bad. And the other
Oh,
thing
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
with
8,
OKC that really impressed
9,
me is
10,
what you
11,
said, Jalen.
12, 13.
I mean, Hatham. They came out and made a statement. They kind of told everyone like, "Yo, we're here," and like y'all was talking shit, but we out here. And that was a scary performance to see without even Shea having to be Shea. Like Shea was just like, I'm just a dude. He still has other levels he can reach. I don't think Memphis has a chance. Maybe they get one at home, just like similar to that Detroit kind of thing. But I think this is a clean sweep or Memphis in five. Jalen.
Memphis is 5.
I mean OKC in five. I mean
Okay,
OKC
see,
in five.
no
I'm going to start
editing
wilding
here.
out. I'm going to start wilding out. Jaren Jackson.
He's nice.
I put a local $5 on his over.
Do you bet money on him?
The man had 4 points.
Yo, FanDuel, we need a sponsor. JLo's
FanDuel
suffering.
Bet 365 something gang. He's a
Underdog.
sleeper, whatever it is. I think the Memphis Grizzlies were atrocious, and I think they kind of got what they deserved. Not the players, but more so the organization in terms of them firing their head coach 4 games before the playoffs. It doesn't make sense. I feel very bad for Ja because he's literally playing 1-on-5. Jaren Jackson didn't show up. Desmond Bain was putrid. But like their best player was Marvin Bagley, brother. Their best player by far was Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley's nice, bro. That guy's nice.
He was so bad. Detroit didn't even want him. But what I'll say is that this is a testament. This is all about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I don't think we should talk anything about the Memphis Grizzlies. This should all be about the Oklahoma City Thunder. Their defense was fantastic. It was suffocating. It was like Memphis was in a straitjacket. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren showed up. We had a fantastic play from the bench. Aaron Wiggins hooped. Isaiah Hartenstein, wow, he had a great game. I think it's going to be a very, very quick series. It should be a sweep. I don't see Memphis getting a single game. This new coach, Iliadopoulos or Ilisas or whatever his name is, I think it's a little bit too soon. It's a little bit too big of a moment for him. Thunder in five.
Jalen, I'm going straight to you to this one. I'm just gonna say what the score was, and you take it away. Boston 103-86.
I love Paolo Banchero, man. That dude is serious. The problem is that Orlando, I think, shot better than they usually do. I believe they're dead last in 3-point shooting. And I believe they're dead last in terms of spreading their offense. Like they get offense from really two players. Wendell Carter Jr. was horrific. He was horrible. That was honestly one of the worst performances of the weekend, if I'm being real. He was terrible. But I think this is what Boston is. Like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they had horrible shooting nights, and they still got 20 something from Derek White. They still got 20 something from Peyton Pritchard. Defensively, they locked in the second half. It felt like they were coasting a lot of the first. Kristaps Porzingis only had 5 points. He couldn't get any post up opportunities, so that's why I think they struggled a lot in the first half. But in the second half, Drew Holiday locked in, Derek White locked in, Peyton Pritchard locked in. Like this is just what Boston is. It's just they're too deep. They got too many options. They're too sort of versatile. And Orlando's got to figure out where they're getting secondary scoring from because Franz Wagner kind of disappeared. But even if you add Franz Wagner, you give them 10 more points, they're still down 10. How are you going to sort of replace or stay on par with Boston's ability to score. Everybody on Boston can score. Everybody on Boston can get a bucket with the exception of Luke Cornett. But how is Orlando going to match that? Because they don't shoot the three ball well enough. They had an outer body experience on Sunday, but that's not gonna you're not gonna be able to sustain that for a whole series. So I got Boston in 6.
Yeah, it's also tough, right? Because no
Sure, Boston in
disrespect,
5. Boston in 5. My fault.
no disrespect to Corey Joseph, but like it's Corey Joseph. Like
Yeah.
that's your starting point guard, right? Like Cole Anthony doesn't ball anymore. Like he had a time where he was balling. They're decimated with injuries with Suggs and Wagner, Mo out. So like that's tough. One thing I want to highlight, and Jilan, you probably appreciate this. Derek White had the most random 30 points. Did you see? Like he had like what? It was like 8 points. Like it was like 8, 12. Like he was just efficient every quarter. Like when
Hmm.
I saw that box score of his points throughout the game, it was beautiful to see in the sense where like the guy just did what he needed to do.
Hit 7 threes. Was great defensively. I think him and Peyton Pritchard was 4 for 6 from three. So you got 11 threes from two players. If you add Drew Holiday, you got 14 threes from three players. Right. So listen, Orlando, where they can hang their hat is defense. They can switch 1 through 5. They're physical. They rebound the basketball well on both sides. They just can't score, man. They literally just can't score outside of Paolo Banchero or Franz Wagner. That's what their problem is.
What about you, Hatham?
Yeah, I'm the same sentiments as JLo. The only thing I don't understand is why did Tatum play 40 minutes? Like, why is Mazzulla having him in the game for 40 whole minutes? You get what I'm saying? He couldn't
Mm-hmm.
play a total of what, 8 minutes? Like all game, he played less than 8 minutes. It would have been 48 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like you're getting blown out. Like everybody else, I guess Derek White had 36. Drew Holiday had 33. Why is Jason Tatum in the game at that point? You know what I mean? Your goal is to not just be in the first rounds to win the championship. I think it's like you have to be kind of just taking care of your players. The Magic, I think, yeah, I have nothing else to say. They just can't get the bucket. I think people can't hit open shots. So like Paulo and Franz are just getting double teamed or having the best defender, and they're like, "Yo, help me, shoot." And no one can make any shots. I think Suggs not being there is kind of a big. They're missing him a lot because
Huge.
he brings the energy, right? So it's not even just like getting scoring; it's just bringing energy. But yeah, we'll see. I think the series will go 6 or 5. I think I think Boston will kind of get off the tank the game 3, and then they'll get back on track.
Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland won by 21. Hatham got anything on this one?
Yo, this is Pat Riley's fault, bro. This is all Pat Riley's fault. They're in this situation because of Pat Riley. They want to pay Jimmy Butler an additional 2 years, and look at Golden State. They just gave him the money, and they started clicking on all cylinders. You know what I mean? I think a lot of these executives believe, especially Pat Riley, doesn't want to get out of his ways, and you're gonna get swept. You have no draft pick, so yeah.
Jilan?
Yeah, this is a sweep.
Yeah, like there's nothing more. There's literally nothing else to say. Golden State, Houston Rockets. Golden State steals this one, 95-85. Jimmy Butler, Steph Curry, Draymond Green. Like the
Did
team
Draymond
just
Green
looked
score over
good.
10? Did he score over 10, Draymond?
No, Draymond didn't score
Bro,
over
hit
10, but he
4.
was like his defense.
No. I just sorry. Quams brought him up. He said the three of them, bro. So I was like, okay, I thought he scored more than 10.
No, he was just a pest.
Oh.
And then Fred VanVleet had 10. I know Jalen, you're gonna have something to say about him. Sengun did his thing, 26. Dylan Brooks had 11. Yeah, Jalen, what do you make of this series? And then I have for this series, I have a question: is Golden State actually scary again? Like maybe not to the level that they were, but like that was an impressive win in my opinion. Jalen,
I don't fear Golden State because I don't fear their depth.
okay.
I think that Jimmy Butler obviously is in the perfect role for Golden State and for himself. He's number two. I think that's what he truly is, and he's probably the best number two in the league after Kyrie. But I don't fear Golden State just because I don't think they have enough scoring from everywhere else, if that makes sense. So are you going to rely on Brandon Pajimski to average 14? And then, but all that aside, free my guy Kaminga, bro. Free my dog Kaminga, fam. I don't know what he did to Steve Kerr, but this is hatred at the highest level. Free my guy Kaminga. I think the Rockets suffered from they don't have a bucket getter. They don't have a guy that they can go to. Sengun is kind of that guy, but they don't have a guy that they can go to and say, "Yo, go get us a bucket. We're struggling." And I think you need that guy to be a perimeter guy or an All NBA first team guy at the post position. And that's not
Devin
Sengun.
Booker.
Sengun's a very good player. Don't get me wrong, but the only guy they have that can kind of go get a bucket is Hisham's boy, Jalen Green. But he's not good. He's honestly not good enough. So I think that's where Houston struggles. I do think they will make adjustments in the second game and in the games coming forward. I really will never, ever, ever understand drop coverage on Steph Curry. I will never understand it ever. And that seems to be what they're playing. This is what got Boston in trouble the first time they played them in the finals. That drop coverage on Steph. If you're going to let him have a field day, that's crazy. But I digress. I think this is a 6-7 game series, though. I think Houston will make adjustments. I think Ime Udoka is a very, very good coach. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think maybe Houston's biggest problem is that they don't have a bucket getter.
So, who do you think is going to win the series?
I'm gonna go Warriors in 7.
Okay.
I'd love. Inshallah, inshallah. Haytham, let's make dua. We need the Rockets to win. Don't make dua with me. Nice.
Yeah, Haytham, what do you make?
I think the series is just fine. I think it's one of those things where Fred VanVleet and Gerald Green went 4 for 19. I don't think they both go 4 for 19. If one of them had just showed up instead of the other one, I think they had a chance of winning the game. I think Steph Curry hit the most crazy shots ever. I think he had like three of the most ridiculous 3-pointers. Even Chuck was like, "Yo, bro, that's luck." And then Kenny was like, "Yo, gee, he hits those shots, fam." You know what I mean? Um, I think yeah, I think they're just fine. I think they just make the adjustments. The drop coverage makes no sense, especially because you have athletes that can fight over screens. If that's the case, then I think you just get Sengun off Draymond, so he's not like
Mm-hmm.
drop coverage, so he's covering someone else, like Moody or something. Like, what's Moody gonna do? You know what I mean? So I think it's one of those things where you have. I think Smith needs to get more starting minutes. Is it Gerald Smith?
Jabari
What's his name?
Smith. Jabari
Jabari
Smith.
Smith. I
He
think
played well.
shooting. Yeah, he played well. I don't know how Dylan Brooks did. Like in general, he didn't do that well, did he?
11 points, 2 for 5 from three. I don't remember him doing much. And isn't he supposed to be like a defender?
That's my point. Like he's not. Who's he defending? Jimmy went for 25, and Steph went for 38. You
Yeah,
know
I
what I
guess he
mean?
was guarding Moses Moody or some shit. I don't know.
And I think it's one of those things where I think the only reason you have him in the game is to kind of hit someone. You get what I mean? Just
Yeah,
to make someone feel. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna lie to you. Why didn't Steph? Why did people hit Steph's hand, his shooting hand when he got the ball? You
yeah.
take a foul, you hit it as hard as possible. You're like, yo, we'll see how it works. But yeah, I have the Houston in 6.
If you remember just to piggyback off of Hatham's last point, if you remember the Cavs series, Dellavedova was super physical with Steph Curry, and then even in 2016, we're super physical in the Jesus, in the last 3 games with Steph Curry,
You good?
um, and they just switched everything. They switched everything, and they were super physical with Steph Curry, and I think that really bothered him in that last series. Now he's a great player, so obviously he'll make adjustments. But I think you got to be physical with Steph. You got to sort of make the game a little dirty.
So, that is our playoff breakdown. We're gonna do a rapid fire thing now, where we're gonna go through the NBA award finalists. We're gonna go through all the awards. We're gonna have 30 seconds max each to choose someone and explain why. We're gonna start with the clutch player of the year. We're gonna go Jalen, Hatham, and then I. Clutch player of the year: Jalen Brunson, Anthony Edwards, Nikola Jokic. Jalen, who and why?
Nikola Jokic, he's cold. Next.
Hatham.
Jalen Brunson. I think they were giving some stat on ESPN that he has like the most points in the last minute or so.
I'm going Jokic. The way he's like, yeah, I'm going Jokic. Defensive player of the year: Dyson Daniels, Draymond Green, Evan Mobley. Hatham.
I want to say Draymond Green. I think he deserves more than he only has two. I think. I think
Hmm.
the fact that Rudy Gobert has 4 or 5. I don't know how many he has, but
4.
yeah, I think that's the only one. I think Dyson McDaniels should have got it, but his team's at home. What did you do defensively if you're at home? You know what I mean?
That's
Jalen.
fair, man. That's so fair.
Jalen.
I have Evan Mobley because I think the Cavs defense took another like a giant leap this year, and I think he's at the heart of it. I think his overall play is at the heart of it. His ability to step out and knock down threes too drastically improved, but I think more
That's
so his
offense.
impact
That's
on
offense.
the. It's okay if I finish the sentence. You let me know.
I'm just letting you know. You said step back three. I'm like, yo, fam, how do you do that on defense unless you're blocking the shot?
As I was saying, I think their improvement has a lot to do with his offense as well, and his improvement shooting the basketball. However, I think his impact defensively is what sets them apart and the reason that they were so far ahead um, with the first seed in the East. If you look at the top two teams in the league, they're 1-3 defensively. So I think that I would go for Evan Mobley.
I'm gonna go with Dyson Daniels because like impressive all season. Plus Dyson Daniels is a guy who like personally I didn't see being in this conversation. Like this guy just came out and showed out. So I think he deserves the nod. Most improved player: Cunningham, Daniels, and Zubac. Jalen.
I'm gonna go. Cade Cunningham. And I know he was the number one pick. I know he makes this amount of money. I know he averaged some last year, but there's been a clear and drastic improvement this year, and that's the reason why the Pistons are six. Six. They finished sixth, and they're in the playoffs. And the damn near could have won that first game if he showed up. So I have Cade Cunningham as my most improved.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna agree with you. Plus, like Detroit Pistons in sixth, making the playoffs, making the play-in is one thing, but to finish sixth comfortably, that like that's a nod to the team, to him, and I think Jalen, you mentioned this way early on when the Pistons started to elevate their game, and we were started to take the Pistons serious and call them a playoff team. You said it that Cunningham took a leap in leadership, and I think right there, that's also part of the trajectory of where the Detroit Pistons are.
What were their names?
Cunningham, Daniels, and Zubac.
I'll probably go with Daniels. I think the fact that he was traded. I think that trade now, if you look at it, I don't even think you do one for one for Murray, even if Murray was healthy. Where it's like he's younger, everything. Um, I just don't like number ones or number twos or number threes. That's their job. They're supposed to get better. They're supposed to carry your franchise. Like you get what I'm saying? Like you're rewarding him for doing something he's supposed to do. Like that's why he was the number one pick. Like you get what I'm saying? Like it's like that one year when Luca was a finalist. It's like you, but like Luca's that's like that's what you do.
But then I can say, oh, when Malik first started walking, I could have been like, oh, I'm not impressed. He's supposed to do it.
No, no, but my thing is like it's one of those things like you take them number one. It's not like he was the number one consensus overall pick.
Yeah.
He's supposed to carry your team,
No,
unless
I
he's a
get it.
bust. Like you
But
get
he
what
was
I'm
also in
saying?
Detroit. He's also in Detroit.
But he was also not healthy. What's that on your face, bro? Why do you have hearts popping up?
Yo, I seen
Anyways,
that too, but I thought I was tripping. I'm not gonna lie.
Me?
yo, chill out,
No,
fam.
me.
No, it's JLo. He has some hearts, bro. He's looking at you, Quavo. He said you.
You're wild. You're wild.
The year, Stefan Cancel, Jalen Wells, and Zachary Richard.
Is it me?
Rookie of the year. Yeah, you.
Yo, if it was me, ESPN's been talking about Bronny. Why isn't Bronny up there, fam? ESPN was on there all the time, bro. Why isn't Bronny up there, finalist? It's Stefan Castle.
Yeah,
I have nothing
I
else to
agree with
say.
that. Jalen.
Yeah, Stephon Castle. I've been big on Stephon Castle um since his UConn days actually.
Yeah, that's true.
But I think it's clearly Stephon Castle. I think he has a higher ceiling.
Yep.
Zachary Rissache has been good as well. I still don't see the KD comparisons, but he's had a couple good games this year. He's only going to get better, but it's clearly Stephon Castle.
Yo, whenever you
Before
say that, yo, you're talking about. Whenever you say like I've been talking about him, it reminds me of LeBron. You know when LeBron's like, "Yo, I knew about that before you guys knew about that."
Yo, respect me. There's tape me talking about Stephon Castle. Don't do that.
there
No,
is.
no, I'm just letting you know, bro. What the
Don't do
viewers are
that.
thinking.
Don't do
Yo,
that.
sixth man of the year, Malik Beasley, Ty Jerome, or Peyton Pritchard. Jalen.
This one was very close because I can understand the argument for Beasley and Jerome, but for me, it has to be Peyton Pritchard. It has to be.
Haytham.
Yo, bro, did any regular person know who Jerome was last year? Like a regular NBA fan, did you know who did he play for last year?
Golden State.
Yeah, I had no idea, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I had
Yeah.
no idea who this man was.
I'm
And then
not
he's
even gonna lie.
talking,
I just know that maybe last year or the year before he played for Golden State. I'm actually gonna check.
and then the man was talking to Banchero this year. Remember when he was talking? He was like, "Yo, I can start for your team. Your team's trash."
Yeah, that's
No,
crazy.
that guy's getting it. That guy's six man of the year, bro.
I'm gonna go Malik Beasley because once again, man, that Detroit Pistons team is just impressive. Coach of the year, Kenny Atkinson, JP Bickerstaff, or Ime Udoka.
I'm gonna go with. This one's a little tough, but I think I'm gonna go with Ime Udoka. I know it's not the popular pick. I think JB Bickerstaff and Atkinson's are it, but Atkinson didn't get the best record in the league, even though they had a hard start. So I'm like, you're null and void. Detroit came all the way up, but also the West is way harder to get the number two seed. There's one of those things where like it just shows, and they're all young guys too, but they're good guys. But it's just they're what 11th or 12th last year. They
Yeah,
had the third pick. They had the third pick, so it means they weren't that
12.
great. They were just,
They were 12.
but they had the third pick, right?
Yeah, they won the lottery though.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying they had the third pick, right? So yeah,
I'm gonna go Bickerstaff. Once again, Detroit. You didn't expect them to be there. I see the argument with Ime Udoka, which is like a close one for me. I think the Cavs, we kind of expected them maybe not to be that good, but we knew they were going to be a top team. I'm still gonna go Bickerstaff. Jilon.
Yeah, I understand the pick for Emu Udoka. I would understand the pick for Kenny Atkinson, but for me, it's JB Bickerstaff. Having Detroit basketball back in the playoffs and playing as well as they have, I think it has to be JB Bickerstaff because they had Monty Williams, I believe, last year.
Hmm.
Prior to that, they had Dwayne Casey, and although they made playoffs in Dwayne Casey's tenure, they didn't look nearly as good as they did this season. Detroit basketball actually seems like it has character. It seems like it has an identity that he's able to restore. And now it's up to JB Bickerstaff to sort of have a little bit of growth, as Hatham alluded to earlier on in the episode. He needs to be better at making adjustments. But I think for me, it is JB Bickerstaff.
Okay, most improved player. I'm going Shea Gilchrist Alexander. The
MVP,
options are
MVP,
Shea.
MVP, MVP,
MVP.
MVP.
Yeah, yeah, MVP. What did I
You
say?
said most improved.
Oh yeah, because I'm reading it off my thing. Yeah, most valuable player. It's Giannis, Shea, and Jokic, and I'm gonna go Shea. Canadian boy deserves it. Killed it. Best record in the league. I do think Joker had an amazing season too, but I'm gonna give it to Shea.
I think Shea should win it last year. I think there's a better case for Jokic to win it this year
Okay, I agree with that.
than last year.
I gotta say I agree with that.
But we can only deal with what we were dealt. So I think that it has to be Shea. He's been the best basketball player in the world offensively, and if he has a strong argument for defensively. I think he's top 10 in steals and deflections, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but he can guard as well. So I think it's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Hate them.
No, I think it's Co MVP. I'm not gonna lie, just the way it is, it should just be Co. Like I think Shea brought 24-year-olds, but Joker has the best season ever. Like it's the best season ever statistically by a center. You know what I mean? It's getting to the point now where it's like these guys don't even know how to vote properly. Like it's the best season we've ever seen, and they're like, yeah, we have to give it to Shea because we fucked up last year, bro. If you go to math class, you go from grade 9 to grade 10. Do they care about what happened last year? Or do they see what's on the paper? You get what I'm saying? Are they like, oh, last year you got a 90, so this year, yeah, you deserve a 90?
Yeah,
Is that
that's
what
my
happens,
favorite
J-Lo?
nigga, bro.
No, think about it. You move on. It's the next year, fam.
Yeah, you're right,
Yo,
gang.
so we're gonna end off on this. Some breaking news that's not so breaking news. Cooper Flag has entered the NBA draft.
Really?
Yeah, it just happened. He
Bro,
declared just now.
he was twerking all year saying, "Oh, I want to come back and be a Duke legend."
He did not.
What you talking about, bro? Well, you want me to tell you how your mind changed? When you get those M's, J-Lo, changes everything, fam.
Yeah, fairs, man. I'm still waiting on mine.
Yeah,
Jeez.
bro.
Yo, next
Inshallah
episode
soon.
of Broken Plays, we're gonna be continuing to break down the playoffs just like we did today. We'll see if some of our predictions came to pass.
Peace.